Hello everyone and welcome to Low Rent Rick Scale Modelling, and this is my build of the Airfix Vintage Classics 176 scale Churchill Mk.VII. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel. It makes me extremely happy when people do that. Now, I'm a really big fan of these vintage classic kits, and I always ask at the start of the videos because I know that there are some real experts and some real experienced people that watch my videos. If any information you've got about this kit or any memories you've got of this kit, please do leave them in the comments below. I really enjoy reading through, and I always learn something about the kits that way, and it's great for people that are new to modelling also to share that experience and get a bit of knowledge from all you experts out there. So please do tell me anything you know about this kit in the comments below. At first glance, the kit looks like it's in good condition. There are one or two little parts where there's a bit of expected flash, but I'm guessing this has really got some age in it also. So considering that, it's not really that much of a problem. It's got the rubber tracks, which some people I know absolutely hate, and there's not a lot of decals to worry about. Look at that little tiny decal sheet. The rubber tracks can be a pain, but I generally face them as I see them. But we'll get around to those in a minute. So looking around, some of the wheel parts have got a bit of flash around them. Some of those tiny little circles for the wheels, I've got sort of a halo around them, but I've got a little trick to get rid of that. So to get rid of the flash around the multiple wheel parts, I'm basically going to just brush over the little bit of flash with some Tamiya extra thin. And as you brush it off, you'll find that that flash actually creeps back as the chemical takes effect on the plastic, and it really smooths it out. So once you've given it a coating with that, just using the edge of the brush, it will actually smooth away some insignificant little flash parts, and it saves you having to try and sand or file these little tiny parts. And it makes the plastic quite shiny when you've done it, but it really does get rid of it, and it's much easier than filing something that is so small, especially with 50-year-old eyes. Good little tip there for those of you that have been looking for a way to get rid of it. Give it a go yourself and let me know what you think. So I'm going to get the job that's a bit of a nose out of the way first, and that's assembling the 22 sprung wheel components. Now there is a way to get these backwards and forwards, which I got them the wrong way around a little bit at the beginning of this build, but it's easy to fix. Just take a look at the left and the right side of the tank itself, and just see which side points towards the rear on each side before you assemble them, and don't make the mistake I did. Although it is an easy fix, the Tamiya extra thin's a little bit forgiving, so you can take it out and turn them round without too much problem. Assembling the main body, there was no real fit issues. If anything, it was a little bit too good a fit, so I had to stretch out the internal body a little bit because it fit together so well. I couldn't get the sides to go in. But again, if you know, use the Tamiya extra thin, you can put a bit of pressure on afterwards. I'm just using it there to smooth out the sides, to take a few of the mold scratches off. It really is quite a universal stuff. The extra thing can be used for all sorts of little applications, and it really is good for smoothing out any flash or any little edges, especially on these smaller scale models. One of the parts that needed the most attention was the turret hatch. It did need quite a bit of work to get it to the right size to receive the part. Again, nothing too serious if you've got a circular file. So painting with the airbrush, I'm going to use Vallejo's Model Air Dark Green as the main colour. I'm going to paint it at this point to give a good base coat down. And then I'm going to do the silver parts, the wheels, the main drive wheels, and any bits of silver, because I'm going to quite heavily weather this afterwards with a bit of dry brushing, some rust, and then a couple of different types of gloss over the top to get some depth. Also going to give the tracks a quick lining of metallic silver, just a very thin quick wash over, and let that cure off so that it's not as prone to cracking when we're moving the tracks around later. I'm going to hand brush in some very bright metallic silver on the drive wheels and across both sides, because they're going to have some rust wash applied to them, and they will darken down quite a lot, so they look quite garish and standoutish at the moment. But that will rust back and weather up quite nicely, and it will give like a layer, so it'll actually look like rusty metal. We're also going to use the metallic silver for some dry brushing. The body of the Churchill's got some wonderful details on it, so some really large bolt heads and some ridges that will look really great once I've dry brushed them. So as I go over now with the dry brush, you'll start to see the green plastic really take on a metallic effect. Uh, it is wonderful to see, and it's actually picked out really well on the camera. You can see there the edges starting to brighten up, and once I go over that with a little bit of varnish, it will really start to look like you're working with metal. It's such a great little technique. I'm going to go over a lot of the silver now with some very watered down rust colour on a flat brush. I'd rather put it on nice and thin and build it up slowly than put it on thick and then go too far. Here's a little preview of the combination of dry brushing silver and rust together, and what it looks like with the varnish applied over the top. And I think you'll agree, it really does look like a metallic effect. The tracks will get the same treatment, just a dry brushing of the rust colour over the top of the metallic silver, and that does dull it down quite a lot. But once we hit it with the varnish, it'll bring that metallic look straight back to them. For joining the tracks, I'm going to use the smallest dob of super glue on the two receiver lugs, and then I'm going to use the scalpel just to stretch the holes around, and then just dab at it until it's absolutely solid. I really do like using this method. I find if you follow the instruction for heating them, that sometimes the rubber will creep away, and you're left with a bit of a mess on your hands. Once the super glue is set, it will set really well. And I always put the joint of the track up at the top so it's hidden by the body. If you've used a good super glue, then these tracks will hold together really nicely. I'm now going to go over the top with the dark green, about 50% water, just in between all the effects and all the dry brushing to give some depth to the green behind the weathering effects. And what that'll do is it'll really lift the contrast of the eye from the weathering and the actual paint background, and it will apply a really sort of realistic and patchy look to the paint, which will pop again once we get the varnish on it. And now applying the black wash, so this will bring out any detail, and it will also make the dark parts of the paint look even darker, and will really contrast against both the silver and the rust. It's a very thin black wash. It's barely got any black in it. As you can see, I've put a little bit of model air in the palette and added a big drop of water, and I'm taking mostly from the water side. For the top coat, I'm going to use Tamiya X22 Clear, but it is heavily watered down with IPA, so it's only about 20% varnish. This will give a gloss but dull effect, is what I sort of describe it as. It'll just put a dull shine. It really makes that metal effect look like it's really metal. It's a really good little technique. So there's only a couple of drops of X22 to IPA. The decals weren't a worry. When it's only little ones like this, I just pop them in a little puddle on my cutting board and then just put them into place so I don't lose them in my big bowl. And then what I'll do is I'll just go over the top of the decals once they've set a little bit with a little bit more of the watered down X22 just to make sure that they fit nicely and they're uniform to the body of the tank. And there we go, the 176 Airfix Vintage Classics Churchill. I think I'm really pleased with the outcome. It does look like it's shiny and rusty and painted all at the same time. So we've done a bit of silver dry brushing, some rust dry brushing, and some Tamiya X22 at 20% to give that shine but no shine effect. Please let me know what you think of the model in the comments and what you think of the job I've done of it. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me for another video. If you're on Facebook, please check out Scale Modelling for Everyone. That's my Facebook page. We've got about 1,200 members, all showing their work every day, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you. See you in the next video, and see you soon. Bye bye.